also defined that this vyavahara, perception and action in general. So this perception about ourselves, perceiving ourselves as individuals, perceiving ourselves as forms, and also perceiving the universe. This all comes under perception. And then this perception also is followed by action. Perception and action. This is called vyavahara. I am an individual in perception. And I see a universe in perception. And then as an individual, I am incomplete, therefore I have to make myself complete. Therefore, within this realm of perception, I am being active. So this activity and the perception both together is called vyavahara. This vyavahara. Vyavahara does not mean merely going about in the world. Vyavahara means that my perception about myself. And that perception about myself includes the perception about the universe. And then the struggle. And that struggle is that I want to be secure, happy, peaceful, complete, etc. This whole thing. And then in order to overcome that struggle, then I perform actions to get some objects, so that by way of enjoying those objects, I can forget or I can become complete or happy, etc. This entire thing, perception and action, is what we call the vyavahara. And technically, these both come under kartritvam. We say kartritvam is used, in the Shastra in a very technical sense. This whole situation is kartritvam. That I see myself as an individual, that I see a universe, and that I am struggling, and that I am performing actions to overcome my own problems. This whole silsila is called kartritvam. And this kartritvam or vyavahara, Bhagavan says, is not a reality. This is the first statement. This is adhyasika. This kartritvam, this vyavahara is a perception is a distorted perception about the self that is ever free from this situation of being an individual, this situation of being faced with a universe. So, the kartritva, free self, is seen as karta. The struggle-free self is seen as a struggling self. The form-free self is seen as a form. The unrelated self is seen as related. Thus, it is adhyasa. Bhagavan also made a point that it is in the form of a non-viveka, it is in the form of non-discernment between. It is there because one doesn't discern between the subject and the object. The subject and the body. The subject and the mind. Because there is a difference between the one who is aware and what one is aware of. This difference is like a daylight. This is an unmistakable difference. That's why Bhashyakara said there should not be difference really. There should not be confusion. There should not be confusion. But yet there is confusion. Because the distinction is so evident, the one who is the Vishayi, the subject, the conscious subject and the inert object, the distinction is so evident. It's like the distinction between the light and darkness. Therefore, there should not be any confusion, but still there is confusion because even if it is a daylight, if I close my eyes to the daylight, it is darkness anyway. If I don't recognize it, then it can cause a problem. It's most evident. Yet I can miss it. If I don't give my attention to that reality, then I can miss it. And that's all. Therefore, there is adhyasa because there is no viveka, quote unquote. This is the whole explanation about it. Not that once upon a time there was ignorance and then later on it created error. Don't put adhyasa in time. Don't put adhyasa in time. Don't put the cause for it, the reason for it also in time. I am an individual. I am an individual because I don't see the distinction between the subject and the object. Within the confusion is past and future. In that way it is anadi. Because it is not an event in time, therefore this situation that we are in, it is not really, when we are very careful, it is not in time strictly. I come to feel time, I come to see time only inside the situation of Dekho. Within the confusion is time. You see? But we put really this situation in time. That is again, an extension of the confusion. When time is within confusion, we put confusion in time. That's why we ask questions sometimes, since when is this problem? We get stuck there. We get stuck there. Kitni saal se problem? And then we use the word by ये तो अनादि है. वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन कब से अनादि है? ना? मैं तो मानता हूँ क्योंकि आप तो स्वामी जी हैं, तो आप तो इतनी सालों से पढ़ा रहे हैं, थोड़ा बहुत श्रद्धा है. हम तो मानते हैं, हम जो बोलते हैं मानते हैं, हम तो अनादि मानते हैं, लेकिन कब से है ये अनादि? This problem is there. This problem is there. We get stuck. Then we don't move. That's called stagnation. We don't make a breakthrough. The whole vichara is really in the form of correction after correction of the obtaining thinking about the whole situation. So, because the time is in the confusion is not in time. This is one point. And it is ananta, it is anadihi, it is ananta, nor does it come to an end in time. You see, it doesn't come to an end in time. See, it ends with time, but it doesn't end in time. See, you don't sleep in time. That is anubhava. The mind doesn't resolve in time, but the mind resolves with time. Is it something to be believed in? Mind resolves with time. It's everybody's experience. Similarly, mind also rises with time. Mind rises with time. Mind resolves with time. Therefore, the question of mind rising in time or resolving in time, that is not there in Anubhava. And we have to see really what is the Anubhava. Therefore, it is not when we make a correction of this adhyasa also doesn't end in time. In that sense, it is anantaha. We have to understand, sometimes Bhashkar uses the word anadir anantaha naisargikoyam loka vyavahara. Oh, anadi ananta ko kaise pakadenge? I mean, there that word has to be explained. Bhagwan Krishnaji also says, it is anadi in the 13th, in the 15th chapter. You see, it is anadi. Now, what is that anahurthamula vadakshakam ashwatham prahur avyayam? That avyayam, it means what? It doesn't end on its own, number one, nor does it end, nor can I end it as an event in time. In that sense, it is ananta. Thus, the entire problem of kartritvam, our vyavahara, our life, this is, if you call it life, call it kartritvam, call it vyavahara, this is nothing but adhyasa. Call it life and death, call it kartritvam, call it vyavahara, whatever it is in the form of a correctable confusion about oneself. Adhyasa. This we have seen. Now the next sentence is, we have to go aram se. Aha. Now a question arises. Koyam adhyaso nama iti. Kaha ayam adhyasaha nama iti. What is this adhyasa? Meaning, what is the lakshana, the definition of adhyasa? What is the definition of adhyasa? It's like saying, what is the definition of confusion? And there are confusions about the definition of confusion. This is called Khyati Panchakam. We are going to get into it. Different schools give different definitions of adhyasa, confusion. But is it all necessary to go through? Of course. I must be very clear about confusion. See? I can gain clarity about the reality only when I can gain clarity about confusion. What is confusion? You say, what is this confusion? You are saying it's all confusion. What does it mean? Confusion ke baare mein jnaan chahiye. That is why, to extract answer from the Siddhanti, the Purva Pakshi asked the question, Kaha ayam. Kaha means what? Ayam means this. Adhyasaha means confusion. Nama. What indeed is this confusion? What this confusion is indeed, meaning what is its lakshana? Lakshana means what is it? It is its nature. Now, before Bhashyakara, becomes free to go into the thing, he first, handles, he respects the other's definitions of confusion and he just states them here. We have Nyaya Vaiseshika schools giving one definition and Buddhists giving another definition and Shunyavadis giving another definition and Vedanta giving its own definition. But Bhashikara doesn't give too much of importance. He just shows what is common to all the definitions first. There is something common to all the definitions, therefore don't unnecessarily fight, go by that. There is something common. Now, let us see definition after definition. First he defines his own ways. Uchyate smriti rupaha paradra purva drishta avabhasaha. Ye hamara definition hai. This particular definition includes both sadhyathyasa and anadhyathyasa. Confusion about a thing and confusion about the truth. Smriti rupaha paratra purva drishta avabhasaha is a definition that comprehends both sadhyathyasa and anadhyathyasa. I said sadhi, you have to, don't be averse to Sanskrit terms, otherwise you will not be able to enjoy Shastra. Swami ji kaha kuch sadhi hai chodo, uska अंग्रेजी अर्थ क्या है? अच्छा, confusion about a thing. ऐसा कभी समझ में नहीं आएगा. You should lap up the Sanskrit terms because the whole vichara is in terms of the terms. Sa-adi means having a beginning. Sa-adi means along with the beginning, meaning a confusion with a beginning. Adhyasaha, confusion. Sadi adhyasa, like when we mistake the rope for snake, we call it Sadi adhyasa because it is me the perceiver, putting myself in time, putting the objects in time. In that situation, I am mistaking the rope for snake. In time only I make a mistake, and again in time I correct it. I don't correct the snake perception. I don't correct the snake perception along with the time. Time in general. I don't correct the snake perception along with the time. I don't start the snake confusion also along with the time. This, let us take it for granted. In the last class I said there are problems in that also. That is going too deep into the topic. We will not go right now. Let us accept confusion about the rope is sadhyathyasa because I am making a mistake. As a seer, as an individual, I am making a mistake about the rope. That mistake I make in time and I correct it also in time. Therefore, a confusion about an object is called Sadi Adhyasa. But Anadi Adhyasa means that I am an individual, this very perception, in which is the time. This is not a mistake that I make in time. That I am an individual. This perception doesn't begin in time. Therefore it is Anadi Adhyasa. Anadi Adhyasa means it's not begun in time. It has begun with the time. What begins along with the time is called Anadi. Let us take it that. What begins, the confusion that begins with the time, meaning time also is a part of that confusion. The confusion that begins with the time is Anadi Adhyasa. And the confusion that begins and ends in time is called Sadi Adhyasa. A मोटा definition है. Now this particular definition, Smriti Rupaha Paratra Purva Drishta Avabhasaha, this particular definition applies to both Sadi Adhyasa and Anadi Adhyasa. It includes both. Now, let's take the first word, Smriti Rupaha. A confusion, adhyasa, is like memory. It is like memory means how I remember a thing, but there is no thing. My friend who was there and gone, let us say, I remember him now. I had a friend who is dead and gone. I remember him. Now there is no person, there is only a thought. Just a thought. Pratyaya. Smriti Rupaha means Kevala Pratyaya. Smriti Rupaha. It is in the form of a Pratyaya. Paratra ane locus. There is a thing. There is an object. Like rope. Rope is called paratra. Paratra means a fact that is there. A fact that is there. Smriti Rupaha Avabhasaha. That Purva Drishta we will take it later. First concentrate on these three terms. Paratra on a fact. Avabhasaha, an appearance, meaning perception. Smriti Rupaha, which is merely a pratyaya, like in Smriti. Smriti Rupaha means Smriti Rupam, Iva Rupam, Yasya Saha Smriti Rupaha. ये बहुव्रीहि है. It is like memory. It is not memory. It is not memory. It is like memory. Like memory means just as in memory there is no thing, there is only a pratyaya, a thought. In that manner, when I see the snake in the rope, that snake is Smriti Rupaha. Meaning, it is only a pratyaya without there being a snake. There is no snake. It looks like a thing, but it is Smriti Rupaha. Smriti Rupaha means, don't say it is in the form of a memory. It is like memory means it is not a memory, it is like a memory, just as in memory there is no thing. There is no thing, there is only a thought. In that manner the snake is only Smriti Rupaha, means it is Pratyaya Rupaha. Appearing. There is a snake appearing in the rope, or there is a snake seen in the rope. That rope is called Paratra. That snake is called Avabhasaha. And what is the nature of that Avabhasaha? That appearance is what? Smriti Rupaha. It is only Pratyaya Rupaha. I see a snake in the rope, which is nothing but a thought. There is no thing called snake. Smriti Rupaha Paratra Avabhasaha. These three words apply to any confusion. That is the essence of confusion. Meaning, seeing the rope for snake, I see it as a snake as a thing, in which case there is no thing, it is only a pratyaya. These three words apply to Sadi Adhyasa, it applies to Anadi Adhyasa. But this word Purva Drishta applies only to Sadi Adhyasa. That Purva Drishta applies to only Sadi Adhyasa. Meaning, when I mistake the rope for snake, then one can always say that I am able to see the rope for a snake because I had already seen the snake, prior knowledge of the snake. This prior knowledge of the mistake, the prior knowledge of the snake, the prior knowledge is a part of the definition of Sadi Adhyasa. Supposing I had never seen a snake, then I can't see the rope for a snake. So I have knowledge. So in all the Sadi Adhyasa, well, what I impose, I have knowledge of. What I impose, I have knowledge of. And also, some kind of similarity, vagaira. I can't impose an elephant on the road. I can impose something similar to the road. So that Purva Drishtatvam can include all these points. That I had the prior knowledge of what a snake is. Prior knowledge of what a snake is. And its similarity with the Paratra, the lotus. These are all included in the word Purva Drishta. When it comes to Anadi Adhyasa, don't bring in Purva Drishta. Because I can't say, just let us analyze. I see myself as an individual because I had the knowledge that I was an individual. Therefore, I impose individuality on myself. I impose individuality on myself because even before I imposed individuality on myself, I had the knowledge of a thing called individuality. खराब हो जाएंगे. Before I imposed time boundness on myself, before I imposed sorrow on myself, before I imposed kartritvam on myself, I had the knowledge of what kartritvam is. Can we say that? Therefore, Purva Drishtatvam can never be applied to Anadi Adhyasa. But Purva Drishtatvam makes sense in Sadi Adhyasa. But there is something common to both Sadi and Anadi. And that is what Smriti Rupaha Paratra Avabhasa. Smriti Rupaha Paratra Avabhasa is common to Sadi Adhyasa as well as Anadi Adhyasa. What do these three words mean? Seeing, something in something else, seeing in a fact something that is not there, but it is only a pratyaya but looking like a thing. Looking like a thing. It is smriti rupaha. Whereas in actuality the sarpa is only smriti rupaha, means pratyaya rupaha. In actuality it is pratyaya rupaha but looking like a reality, vastu rupaha. If smriti rupaha looks smriti rupaha, then there is no problem. But smriti rupaha, pratyaya rupaha looks like a reality, a thing. That gets divided into two things, the thing and pratyaya. It is one pratyaya getting divided into thing and pratyaya. This is the adhyasa. This is the soul of adhyasa. It is a pratyaya, it is a thought. Snake thought looks like both the snake and the thought of the snake. That's why I say there is a snake of which I have a thought. There is a snake. There is a snake of which I have a thought. Now how many are there? There is a snake of which I have a thought. Within that how many are there? Going by that statement, how many are there? Don't say there is only one. I say, if I say there is a snake of which I have a thought, how many are there? There is a snake of which I have a thought, quote unquote. How many are there? Two are there, Ramachandra. Yeah, one hand. Don't listen really. People don't listen. इसलिए हमारा क्लास चलता है ही. कितनी साल, 100 साल, 200 साल चलता ही रहेगा. Why? Because how is it that we have been taking classes for so many years? It's because people don't listen. मुझे आप क्या कह रहा है? I am only saying if there is a snake of which I have a thought, then how many are there? Two. Snake and the thought of the snake. Because I make a conclusion, snake is there whether I see it or not. If I go away also there is snake. That means how many? There is a fact, the snake, of which I have a thought. But these two are nothing but one. That is unfoldment. That is a different matter. There is a snake of which I have a thought. This situation is called adhyasa. Actually, is it vastu rupaha or smriti rupaha? Smriti means pratyaya. Is it vastu rupaha or pratyaya rupaha? Pratyaya rupa. It is only pratyaya. It is only pratyaya. Looking like both the thing and pratyaya of a thing. This is the restatement. This is how the adhyasa is. But as adhyasa, what is it? This is how a person who sees the snake, he says, well, there is a snake, I am seeing it. There is a snake of which I have a thought. But in actuality, there is no snake, there is only thought, snake. There is only thought, snake, thought. There is no snake. There is a snake. One snake thought looks like both the snake and the thought of the snake. In that way it is smriti rupaha. And we are not entertaining a snake thought in emptiness. We entertain the snake thought in paratra, the fact. paratra rajvam paratra sarpa avabhasa. And that sarpa is nothing but smriti rupaha. Meaning what? Pratyaya rupaha. It is just a pratyaya. How can you have sarpa pratyaya in rajju? Because rajju pratyaya I don't have. I don't have the rajju pratyaya. Therefore, there is a distortion, sarpa pratyaya. Therefore, now if you bring in the memory that the prior knowledge of the snake, then it becomes purva drishta. You cut off the purva drishta and take into account only three words. Paratra, smriti rupaha, abhyasa, avabhasa. In sadhyadhyasa, purva drishta avabhasa. In anadhyadhyasa, smriti rupaha, paratra, avabhasa. Now in anadhyadhyasa, what is paratra? Advitiya Atma. Advitiya Atma is the paratra. Paratra means locus, undefined. Avabhasaha, that I am an individual, dehoham is what? Avabhasaha. So this dehoham iti avabhasaha in Advitiya Atma, and this avabhasaha, this appearance, is what? Smriti rupaha. Meaning not, it is pratyaya rupaha. It is a pratyaya without there being a vastu. That I am deha is not a fact but a pratyaya. That I am related to a universe also is a pratyaya, not a fact. That dehoham is pratyaya, and that I stand related to the universe is also pratyaya rupaha. Like in the dream, dehoham is pratyaya rupaha, and standing related to the dream mountain also pratyaya rupaha, but looking like things. Pratyaya and pratyaya vishaya. One pratyaya looks both as pratyaya and pratyaya vishaya. This is the language, we use. The thought and the object of thought. You see? Thought and the object of thought. The dream also dream thought and object of thought. Thoughts and objects of thoughts. What look like thought and object of thought? So there is an object of which I have a thought. If this is true, you can never prove this statement. You can never prove this statement, please understand. That there is an object. One statement is over. Now prove it without the knowledge of it, without the thought of it. Supposing there is a sequence, the existence of the object were independent of my thought, then you can say there is an object which is there, of which I happen to have a thought. Then there would be two realities. But the very existence of the object cannot be proved without the thought. Nor the thought can prove itself without the object. That means they are not two, they are one. If they are one, that is called pratyaya rupaha. One pratyaya looking like both pratyaya and the object of pratyaya. Both are able to form. Pratyaya and this is the Vedanta's definition of adhyasa, which includes both sadhyadhyasa and anadhyadhyasa. In anadhyadhyasa there is no purva drishtatva. Therefore, some of the school which they say this adhyasa is something pravaha rupa, that is wrong. They say, now I have this is how they say. Now I feel I am a man, I am an individual. Now this sense of individuality creates in me a certain impression, sanskara. Then this sanskara means impression perpetuates next, adhyasa. That adhyasa leaves behind an impression and that leads to further adhyasa. This is called, it perpetuates itself. Adhyasa doesn't perpetuate. Like desire, supposing you have no desire to drink, you have to hear, well, this is the only way I can convey. These are very tough things. I do my best. Baki Ishwar ki mercy. Continuity needs not be perpetuation. An error is until it gets corrected. Not that it needs to be, it needs to be perpetuated. Perpetuation is a different phenomenon from being there until correction. Perpetuation is different. Therefore, adhyasa does not, like for instance, you have no desire to drink. But then one day you sat with a friend and then, had a taste. You went to Darjeeling and started it. Then you get a taste of it. And that becomes a stronger taste. That desire for it goes on strengthening. That desire can perpetuate itself. That means drinking perpetuates the desire and desire perpetuates drinking. They strengthen each other. A kind of, there is a process of strengthening and perpetuating. Adhyasa is nahi. So, in this life really, I see myself as an individual. And because I see myself as an individual now, and that leaves behind a sanskara called adhyasa sanskara, the impression, and that leads to further adhyasa. What is this language? What is this language? Self-perpetuation. You understand? It becomes a process. It becomes a process. I eat, survive, and I survive and I work and eat. I survive and work and survive. This is a process by which I perpetuate myself. There is an effort involved. There is a process involved. Wo nahi. Therefore, adhyasa leaves behind sanskara. And that sanskara leads to further sanskara. Is absolutely absurd. Therefore, explaining adhyasa as a pravaha rupam, meaning it perpetuates itself due to sanskara being left behind by adhyasa is not true. Like the snake perception, you see, where is the sanskara there? I mistake it for snake. Until I discover that it is wrong, my snake perception need not make any effort to perpetuate itself. My snake perception need not make any effort. I don't have to make any effort, or that perception needs to make any effort to perpetuate that perception. It is. It is. It doesn't move. It is until correction. I can't even use the term it continues. I am allergic to these terms. Adi. These are wrong terms. In fact, wrong terms are worse than atom bombs. The moment you say Adhyasa perpetuates itself, then we have not understood its beauty, Adhyasa. Its beauty is that it doesn't have to perpetuate. An error remains. That confusion remains until correction. Like, you solve a mathematical problem and arrive at a wrong solution. Now, that wrong solution doesn't have to perpetuate itself by a word. It is until I find the right solution. In that manner, whenever you come across in some of the translations or in some of the commentaries, thus this adhyasa leaves behind an impression and that leads to further adhyasa and that again leaves behind an impression and that leads to further adhyasa. This is a self-perpetuating confusion. You also say, bahut acha hai. I say, no confusion perpetuates itself. Confusion remains until it gets corrected. That is why adhyasa is. Therefore, purva drishtatvam, don't take it into purva drishtatvam, don't take it into anadi adhyasa. And even if we apply purva drishtatvam to sadhi adhyasa, that again doesn't prove the perpetuation. Purva drishtatvam is not meant to prove that even sadhi adhyasa perpetuates itself. It only means that I can't impose a snake unless I had knowledge. Bas itna hi. It is not that now I see a snake and it leaves behind an impression. And again when I go there, I again saw it as snake. Why? Because that adhyasa, that it is snake, left behind an impression, sanskara. And that sanskara again leads to further adhyasa. And that adhyasa leads to sanskara. Is it true? I say, what is the sanskara? That is not the sanskara adhyasa. Seeing a snake and going away from there and then having the thought that what I saw was snake, what is the difference? Seeing the snake in the road and then going home and then thinking, you are not seeing the snake, you are only having the sanskara, the thought that I saw the snake. What is the difference? Because both are, it is just a continuity of the same adhyasa. Continuity means what? It's just being there. I am using the word continuity without a flow attached to it. It is a continuity without a process. It is not a continuity involving a process. Otherwise, the continuity also involves a process. It is not a pravaha rupa continuity. It is effortlessly. It effortlessly is. This is the definition of sadhi adhyasa and anadi adhyasa. And therefore when we say adhyasa is gone, but adhyasa sanskara is not gone, is also a theory. Some of the abhyasavadis, all these things are there. I have to say that because those who prescribe spiritual practices, they say you may have the knowledge that you are Brahman, but then the sanskara of adhyasa is gone, but sanskara is not gone. Therefore, to exhaust the sanskara of adhyasa, to exhaust the sanskara, to root out the sanskara that I am the body, you have to follow certain practice. I know that I am not the body, utna to malum hai. I know that I am not the body, but the impression is there, past impression is there. To exhaust that past impression, I have to do practice then. Therefore, to justify practice, you bring in sanskara. Not able to follow. To justify prasankarvada, you bring in sanskara. Therefore, adhyasa is not a self-perpetuating phenomenon. Anadi adhyasa. I say it is not even in time. How can it really perpetuate? How can it be a process? Time is in it. Time is in the confusion, not confusion is in time. Therefore, how can really it perpetuate itself as a matter of process in time? Okay, all these points will come to when we do Sugama. These are all meant for Sugama. I can't go into all those details now. There is no point. Okay, ji. Now we get into difference of opinion about the definition of adhyasa. Now, before we go into the different views about adhyasa, understand the definitions that are given by the other schools. Those definitions only apply to sadhi adhyasa. They can't apply to, they don't apply to anadi adhyasa because they don't even accept what is anadi adhyasa. The known confusion they define. What is the known confusion? Oh, these are all the known confusion. Mistaking the rope for snake is a known confusion. Mistaking the silver shell for the silver Shuddhika for Rajatam is a known confusion. It is a confusion about Sadhyadhyasa. Mistaking the crystal for red it is a pure white crystal. It is a colorless crystal, but it looks red due to some reflection of the color of a flower. There is a confusion. Blue sky, or the sky having a horizon, its ending, Tala and Malina. Blueness of it is a confusion. And Tala roof is a confusion. Maru Marichika Mirage, what is a known confusion? In this manner, we have known confusion. Now, keeping in view these known confusions, well, these various schools define what is confusion. They also say, yes, there are confusions. So, their definitions always pertain to Sadhi Adhyasa. How that is. Tam means Tam Adhyasam, Usadhyasko. Kechit, some people. Some school, Vadanti, they speak of it. Kechit Vadanti, some people speak of it, meaning define it. As what? Anyatra, Anya Dharma Adhyasa iti. Anyatra means a noun. Anya Dharma means the adjective of another noun. One reality, being mistaken to have the quality of another reality. Anyatra, anyat dharma. Anyatra is a reality. Like a crystal. Aji, like a crystal. And close to the crystal, there is a japa kusuma. There is a flower. Flower or anything, any red object, any colored object. Now that japa kusuma or red flower throws its color on the crystal. Somehow it reflects on the crystal. I don't see the flower. I don't see the flower. But I know the redness is the quality of a flower. Now I don't see the flower. I see only the crystal. And then conclude that redness is its quality. That means I am mistaking a noun, the crystal, to have a quality that belongs to another reality. They don't say it doesn't belong to it alone. It is a quality that doesn't belong to it but belongs to another reality. That is very important. I see the redness in the crystal that doesn't belong to the crystal but is there as a reality, as an adjective of another reality called a flower. Therefore, this, to sum up their definition, mistaking one noun, mistaking one reality to enjoy the quality of another reality. So it is a confusion between a reality and another reality. So for them, what is a confusion? Mistaking a noun to enjoy a quality that doesn't belong to it, but it is there belonging to some other reality. That is called anyasya, anyatra. Anyatra means what? A given noun. In a given noun. Anya dharma adhyasa. Anya dharma means the quality of another reality. Adhyasaha, imposition. Imposing the adjective of one noun on another noun is called adhyasaha. Iti kechit vadanti. Kuch log kahte hain. Now, kaun kahte hain? That is all not necessary. And if you are interested, Nyaya and Vaiseshika are there. Nayayikas and Vaiseshikas definition. Swami, what is Nayayika, Vaiseshika? That's why Nayayika, Vaiseshika are the two schools. We have Nyaya. What are the 6 schools? Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Mimamsa, and what else? Sankhya, Buddhist, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, and Mimamsa, Sankhya, and Vedanta. Along with Vedanta, it is 6 schools. And Buddhists also. Avaidhikas are also brought. That way, not only 6, there are so many. But because under each one there are again subdivisions, Mahamar subdivisions. There are so many darshanas in this country because there was so much of freedom to think and air opinion. The very fact that we have so many schools, that is why there is so much of harmony. Because you go by your school. You think that is true, okay, go by it, hamara koi nahi. If you think Sankhya is true, all right, go. If you think Vaiseshika is true, go, all right. Whatever makes you happy, do it. No jhagada. Therefore, how many darshanas are there in India? Officially 6, unofficially 6 million. Officially means those who put them in writing. They are called recognized schools. But otherwise there are so many. So Nayayikas and Vaiseshikas schools define confusion like this. What is that? What is their definition? Mistaking a reality to have the quality that doesn't belong to it but belongs to another reality. Therefore, what you see in the crystal is there elsewhere. The redness that you see in the crystal may not be there in the crystal, but it is a reality that is there elsewhere. This is otherwise called Anyatha Khyati. Technically it is because these Vyakhyakas, they have given a word to it. It's called Anyatha Khyati. You don't have to worry about it. Swamiji, what is Anyatha Khyati? There is nothing in it. That is why Shankaracharya also says, don't worry, some people think. He doesn't even talk about good things. Kuch log aisa sochte hain. Why? Because the matter is, what is to be unfolded is really something else. That is because whatever may be your definition of confusion, ultimately you boil down to seeing something differently for want of recognition of what it is. That is common. You mistake the crystal for, see, now this is the definition. Just come back to the topic. This is the definition. Mistaking a reality to have an adjective that doesn't belong to it, but belongs elsewhere. Okay. But then really be more precise. What is the fundamental principle of confusion? You see a reality differently first. Because you don't see it as it is. That is the basic principle. Shankaracharya says, catch that basic principle. बाकी लड़ते रहो. बाकी समय में लड़ते रहो अपने आपस में. But fundamentally, what is a confusion? Seeing a fact differently. Because you don't see it as it is. Yes, as it is. This is one definition. Okay. The next is some other people. Kechitu. Some other people. As different from the previous. That two is meant to discern the first definition from the second definition. That two. Kintu, parantu, when we say, what does it mean? Lekin, when you say, what does it mean? Meant to show the difference between the present and the past. वो ऐसा कहता है लेकिन जो ये है ये ऐसा कहता है. लेकिन मतलब there is a difference. That is called tu. Tu is meant to show the difference between the first and the second definition. Kechit tu. Whereas some other people vadanti, they say how yatra yadasthyasa. Yatra jaha. Yadasthyasa means जिसका imposition है. जहां जिसका imposition है, meaning what you see and where. There are always two things. One is what you mistake, and the other is what you mistake as. I don't know how to put it. What you mistake and that mistake. What I mistake is called yatra, And that very mistake is called yadadhyasa, yasyadhyasa. Yatra means that reality. Yadadhyasa means the mistake. Yatra yadadhyasa. Here, what I mistake is rope, and the mistake is that it is snake. What I mistake is the shell, and the mistake is that it is silver. Take that example. दो आ गए ना, यत्र अध्यासः यस्य अध्यासः, जिसके बारे में अध्यास है, that is called, जिसके बारे में अध्यास है, that is expressed by the word yatra. Yad adhyasah means what? Jo adhyas, jo mistake. So there are two things, yatra adhyasah and yad adhyasah. इसको पकड़ना चाहिए. Yatra adhyasah and yad adhyasah means yasya adhyasah. There are two realities according to me. Okay? Yatra adhyasah is a reality right in front of you. Yasya adhyasah is a reality elsewhere. Yatra adhyasah is a reality in front. Yasya adhyasah is also a reality elsewhere, which is there in the form of my thought, memory. One is a reality in front, another is a reality in my mind. This is a definition. It's not Vedantiyon ka definition. नहीं कुछ लोग कहते हैं, some Buddhists. It's a Buddhistic definition. The second definition is Buddhistic definition. Some sects of Buddhists and also some sects of Vedantis. Some of the Vedants, Dvaiti Vedants. So what is confusion? There is a reality in front and a reality in your mind. Yatra adhyasah, yad adhyasah, tayoho. Tad viveka. Tad viveka means tayoho viveka. Between the two, the difference. Tad viveka means tayoho viveka means the distinction between the two. One is a reality in front, the other is a reality in my mind. दोनों को बीच में जो difference है विवेक, agraha nibandhanaha, due to lack of seeing the difference. Because I don't see the difference between a reality in front of me and a reality in my mind. I see the shell, I have the knowledge of the silver. Silver also comes to my mind at that time. Because the silver looks like shells. Therefore, when I see the shell, my knowledge of silver comes to my mind. Now there is a confusion between a reality in front and the thought of another reality in my mind. That's nothing. It's all hair-splitting thinkers. And leave out the essential principle. These are all things which can be cut down. Whatever you may, the modality is the methodology of confusion, whatever it may be. The principle is the same. Nibandhanaha brahmaha iti. This is a bhranti. What is the bhranti? I just don't see the difference between the shell there and the silver here. And because I don't see the difference, well, suddenly I mistake the shell for silver. It is some people. But here also, this may be, but ultimately what does it mean? Why do you take the mistake? It may be because the silver is in your dimag, whatever may be the reason. But why do you mistake the shell for silver? Because I don't see the shell, bas. Why I don't see it and all, that's a different matter. That you don't see. Why do you see the shell as silver? Because I don't recognize it as shell. Therefore I see it as silver. Therefore what is the fundamental principle? Atasmit tadbuddhi. Mistaking one thing for what it is not because I don't see it as it is. That fundamental principle, without that help, without the help of that fundamental principle, all your definitions become empty. You understand, Because you have to take the help of that fundamental principle. If I see the shell as a shell, and then even if you have Rajatam in your mind, can you mistake it? Let us take it. Even if you have Rajatam in your mind, even if you have Rajatam in your pocket, leave alone in your mind, even if you bring Rajatam in your pocket, you can't mistake the shell for silver if you have seen the shell as shell. Yes. Therefore, the second definition is what? It is a confusion between the reality in mind and the reality in front. And some people write a book. Do you know what is that book? Khyati Panchakam. Means what? 5 methods of adhyasa. A waste of time. What 5 methods of adhyasa? You don't know 5 methods of adhyasa. Adhyasa is only one. Mistaking a reality for what it is not because you don't see it as it is. That's all the confusion about. This is the second definition. It's like writing a book. Why did Bhagavan create the world? Vedanta is saying there is no creation. Creation is Bhagavan. Now without going into Tatparyam, you are bringing out a beautiful book. Why did Bhagavan create the book? Pura Kahani, another Ramayana. Ishvara Katha. Bhagavan ki Kahani. That is because lack of understanding about what is Tatparyam is. Similarly, here also lack of understanding about what Tatparyam is, the basic principle. We just go into those hair-splitting brutalities given by all mediocres. All those great people founders, they may be great scholars, but all mediocres. Because Bhashyakara is telling so simple. I say, whatever may be your modality, understand the basic principle that you fail to recognize a thing as it is first. Then there is a third definition which applies to both Vedanta and Shunyavadis. Shunyavadi also can be, accommodated in this definition. What is adhyasa? Anyetu, just another 2 minutes. Anyetu, whereas others, yatra yad adhyasaha, where there is adhyasa, meaning jahan adhyasa hai aur jo adhyasa hai, tasyaiva, about which you have a confusion, that very reality, tasyaiva, viparita dharmatva kalpana, ascribe to it what is just contrary to what it is. Seeing a reality contrary to what it is. Viparita dharmatva kalpana. You are not bringing some quality from outside and throwing it. You are not throwing one reality and another reality. You are only seeing a reality contrary to what it is. Tasyaiva viparita dharmatva kalpana achakshate vadanti. This is the third definition, which can accommodate both Vedantis and Shunyavadi. Buddhist means there are thousands of Buddhists, but then Shunyavadi Buddhist. And we have to, there is a difference between Shunyavadi definition, Vedantis definition. Seeing a reality for, we say snake, we are seeing the rope for snake. Not I am bringing a snake and imposing on it. I am seeing the rope distortedly. I am seeing the rope distortedly. So snakeness is the adhyasa, rope is a reality. This is Vedanta. All that the Shunyavadi says is, we impose a snake on the rope. And the rope also is an imposition. Ultimately, it is Shunya. Even Prapancha is an imposition. If we say Prapancha is an imposition upon Brahma, they say no. If you say Brahman, that is also another imposition. Fundamentally, Shunyam. That makes them Asat Karyavada. I mean, Asat Khyati-vada. Asat Khyati. Asat Khyati means what? There is no reality, everything is a confusion. Everything is an error. Snake is a confusion in the rope, rope also is a confusion. And behind the rope there is nothing, meaning Prapancha itself is a Bhranti. Behind the Bhranti there should be a reality. No, there should be no reality. If you bring in a reality, I would say that is again another Bhranti. So behind Bhranti there is no reality. It is Shunyam. That makes them what? Asat Khyati. Asat Khyati means what? The entire confusion culminating in Shunyam. Non-existence. But then this final definition that we gave, this mainly applies to only Vedanta, because we are not here to dismiss Shunyavadi or anything. We can accommodate him by the way, but the final definition applies to Vedanta. Seeing a reality for contrary to what it is. Aram se dekhe. Then Bhashyakara says ultimately, whatever you may say, but there is something common to all. And that common to all is what? Anyatra, anyadharmadhya. Seeing something contrary to what it is, well, because you don't see it, that is the reason. Because you don't see it as it is. That is the reason. You don't see it as it is. We'll continue later. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Agraha means non-recognition. Nibandhana means due to. Due to non-recognition. Graha Nibandhana. खाने के लिए क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं। हरिओम हरिओम। ओम चलेंगे। हरिओम हरिओम नमः शिवाय। थोड़ा जी हाँ बस बस थैंक यू। First clearing himself from these details. Because once you say confusion, what kind of confusion will say? And everything we divide. Happiness. What kind of happiness? What kind of peace do you want as if it has a variety? What kind of freedom? Similarly confusion. What kind of confusion is it? The confusion is any confusion is the same. Confusion में कोई variety थोड़ी होता है. Confusion में कोई variety है ही नहीं. Confusion is a confusion. But then one may say, is the definition of confusion. We are giving definitions of confusion. About which definitions there are confusions. Problem. So Bhashyakara tries to say, don't fight among yourselves. Understand the basic principle of confusion is the same. When a thing is not seen as it is, you see it different. And that applies all over life. Simple thing. रोज हम करते रहते हैं. Happened to be a good man, I took him to be untrustworthy, and then I lost him. Now what is it? Confusion. If I had known him that he is good, then I would not have made the mistake. He is bad. But that is also what? Confusion. Confusion is not a very unknown thing. Most known thing is confusion. It is very well known. Confounding a confusion. You don't even confound G because it has no gradation. वहाँ पर भी गड़बड़ है. Confounding a confusion वगैरह व्यवहार में होता है. But then if you become meticulous about it, कुछ नहीं है. Confounding a confusion means first you confuse him, then you irritate him. That is called confounding the confusion. Then you irritate him. When you get irritated, then you say you are adding to the confusion. Not literally you can add to the confusion. Understand? When you irritate, then you say adding. Okay, you have already taken the rope for snake. Now add to that confusion. And you bring a stick to beat it. Is it adding to the confusion? Is it adding to the confusion? You bring a stick to beat it. Is it adding to the confusion? Is it adding? So कुछ नहीं है. You bring a snake charmer. Is it adding to the confusion? You can add to the mess. Supposing you break one utensil. You understand, You break a glass. That is one mess. Then you step on it and hurt your feet. That is called adding not to the confusion, adding to the, you are not hearing, adding to the mess. You can add to the mess, not add to the confusion. Even though we use the word like confusion is different thinking. These phrases we use, but we can add to the mess. That's what we keep doing, we add to the mess. Yes, there is some prasadam ji, जिसमें कोई अध्यास नहीं है, सो आप आगे ले सकते हैं. It's not like Rajju Sarpar, Shuktika, Rajatan or Maru Marichika, it is real. O Paramatma, please come. आइए आइए, जल्दी जल्दी आ जाना जी, हमको भी जाना है. ओ प्लीज कम, आराम से आइए. Ramachandra, like we have this one or this one. This is too sticky. I think this one. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. आइए, प्रसाद है. हाँ जी, हाँ, दोनों टेस्ट करेंगे फिर बताएंगे. He was very intelligent, clever. Devi came with milk and curd. She said, here is milk and here is curd. She asked Tenali, which would you like to have? Then Tenali Raman said, tell me, what will I get through milk and what will I get through curd? Then Mataji said, if you take milk, you will get a lot of knowledge. And if you take curd, you will get a lot of wealth. Then I said, because I have never tried, I have never seen, let me see. He took both the cups in his hand and gulped down both. Because he didn't want to have only wealth without knowledge, or knowledge without wealth. Then Mataji got very angry. Then he said, you are going to be Asya Kavi.